This morning, a potential game changer in the housing market. President Trump says he wants to slam the door on Wall Street investors buying single-family homes.
Increasingly over the last 4 or 5 years, I think America is short essentially like 4 million homes, and that's translating into real affordability issues.
Trump announcing plans to ban institutional investors from snatching up real estate and driving up housing prices, saying for a very long time, buying and owning a home was considered the pinnacle of the American dream. That American dream is increasingly out of reach for far too many people. Wall Street said to be blindsided by Trump's move. Companies like Blackstone and other major landlords seeing their stock prices drop. Trump pushing Congress to approve the ban, saying people live in homes, not corporations. Senator Chuck Schumer responding, saying Senate Democrats tried to do this last year, Republicans blocked it. At the heart of the issue, affordability for first-time homebuyers. The median price of an existing home in the U.S. now tops $400,000 with mortgage rates near 6%. But critics say large investors own just 1 to 3% of single-family homes. And they say Trump's proposal does not address other big issues like the shortage of new building projects and skyrocketing construction costs.
We're talking about a really small share of purchase activity and an even smaller share of the overall housing stock when it comes to these large institutional investors.
Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about a major development in the housing market that could affect millions of Americans, especially first-time homebuyers. Former President Donald Trump has announced a proposal that would ban Wall Street and large institutional investors from buying single-family homes, and this has already sparked strong reactions across politics, finance, and real estate. For years now, housing affordability has been one of the biggest issues facing Americans. Home prices have skyrocketed, mortgage rates remain high, and wages have not kept up. Many people feel completely locked out of the housing market, and Trump is positioning this proposal as a direct response to that problem. His argument is simple: homes are meant for people and families, not corporations and hedge funds. Trump says that Wall Street firms have been buying up large numbers of single-family homes, especially in suburban and working-class neighborhoods, driving prices higher and creating artificial competition for regular buyers. When a family is trying to buy their first home, they're often competing against corporations that can pay in cash, waive inspections, and close quickly. According to Trump, that system is fundamentally unfair and needs to be stopped. Right now, the United States is facing a housing shortage of roughly 4 million homes. That shortage alone puts upward pressure on prices. On top of that, the median price of an existing home in the U.S. is now over $400,000. Mortgage rates are hovering around 6%, sometimes higher depending on credit and location. For a lot of Americans, especially younger buyers, that combination makes homeownership feel impossible. Trump argues that banning institutional investors from buying single-family homes would ease competition, slow price increases, and give everyday Americans a better chance at owning property. He frames it as restoring the American dream, saying that for a long time, owning a home was a major milestone for families, but that dream is now slipping further out of reach. The announcement reportedly caught Wall Street by surprise. Major real estate investment firms like Blackstone and other large landlords saw their stock prices drop after the news broke. Investors clearly see this as a serious threat to a business model that has grown significantly over the last decade, especially after the 2008 housing crisis and during the low-interest rate years that followed. Trump is pushing Congress to approve the ban, but this is where things get complicated. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer responded by saying that Senate Democrats had previously tried to take action against large investors in the housing market, but Republicans blocked those efforts. That response has turned this issue into another political battleground, with both sides claiming they want to protect homebuyers while blaming the other party for past failures. Critics of Trump's proposal argue that institutional investors are being overstated as the main problem. They point out that large Wall Street firms own only about 1 to 3% of single-family homes nationwide. From their perspective, banning these investors would not significantly lower prices or solve the deeper housing crisis. They argue that the real issues are the lack of new housing construction, restrictive zoning laws, rising construction costs, labor shortages, and inflation. Construction costs have soared over the past few years due to higher material prices, supply chain disruptions, and labor shortages. Builders say it is more expensive than ever to build new homes, especially affordable ones. As a result, fewer homes are being built, which keeps supply tight and prices high. Critics say that unless those issues are addressed, banning Wall Street investors won't fix the problem in a meaningful way. Still, supporters of Trump's proposal argue that even a small percentage of corporate ownership can have a major impact in specific markets. In certain cities and suburbs, institutional investors own a much larger share of available homes, particularly in fast-growing areas. In those markets, they can significantly influence prices, rents, and competition. Supporters say removing corporate buyers from the equation would help stabilize local housing markets and reduce speculative buying. Another concern tied to Wall Street ownership is renting. Many of these corporations buy homes not to sell, but to rent them out long-term. That shifts neighborhoods away from owner-occupied homes and toward permanent rentals, which some argue weakens community stability. Trump's messaging taps into this concern by emphasizing family ownership, community roots, and long-term investment in neighborhoods rather than profit-driven corporate ownership. Trump has said this proposal is just one part of a broader housing and affordability agenda that he plans to roll out in the coming weeks. While details are still limited, he has hinted at additional measures aimed at lowering costs and increasing access to homeownership. Whether those proposals will gain traction in Congress remains uncertain, especially in a deeply divided political environment. This issue highlights a larger debate about the role of corporations in everyday American life. From housing to healthcare to education, many Americans feel that large institutions have gained too much influence at the expense of individuals and families. Trump's proposal directly targets that frustration and frames the housing crisis as a fairness issue, not just an economic one. At the same time, the proposal raises serious questions about government intervention, market dynamics, and unintended consequences. Opponents worry that banning institutional investors could reduce overall investment in housing, potentially slowing construction even further. They also question how such a ban would be enforced and whether corporations would find loopholes to continue buying homes through subsidiaries or partnerships. As of now, this proposal is not law, but it has already reignited national conversation about housing, affordability, and who the housing market is really serving. Whether you support or oppose Trump's plan, it's clear that housing has become one of the most pressing economic issues in the country, and voters are paying close attention. This debate isn't going away anytime soon. With home prices high, supply low, and frustration growing, housing policy is likely to remain front and center in political discussions moving forward. Trump's proposal has drawn a clear line in the sand, and the response from lawmakers, Wall Street, and the public will shape what happens next. Like and subscribe for more of these videos or follow my channel for more updates and breakdowns like this.